I'll do an overview of what's been going on. Claire has the state of the school address. I need to talk to you about bell times, districts looking at bell times again, and open for questions. And I think, and then we have probably a report from Christian and from Jim. Sound good? Am I missing anything?
Maybe just an update about the materials today for if.
Oh yeah, I'll do that in our just a general overview of what's been going on since our last meeting. But I can certainly start with that. So the last 2 days, yesterday from 12 to 5 and today from 7 till noon, we had our material pickup and it was a really big success. It was, first of all, just fun to see people again and even briefly driving through, number one, but number two, just getting learning materials in the hands of kids that don't probably have a lot to do with screen time is super helpful. Number one, the art kits looked phenomenal. The PE equipment, super fun. Everyone was very patient and kind, and it was just a lot of fun to get those out. Linda Fish has been kind enough to offer to be the person to go to on Monday, October 12th. So you'll get another robocall if you weren't able to, or if you have a neighbor who wasn't able to come and pick things up. We'll do one more round on Monday and hopefully get a lot more into the hands of our kids. I haven't had a chance to count how many, but it was hugely successful. Wouldn't you say, Claire and Carrie and those teachers who were there?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you to the parents who helped put it together. Also, I don't know if you know this or not, but our engineers also helped. First of all, collate Montessori materials, and we have video of that, and that just tells you what a special group this is, that, you know, our engineers chip in any way they can. They're also seen as teachers in the building, so that was super fun. And then last night, I don't know how many of you know Kenny, but he stayed right with us through till 5:30, supplying the art kits. Those were going pretty fast, and he was opening the boxes, stacking them up, or organizing them for us. And it was really, it's just a huge team effort, and I'm really, really proud of the team. And I want to thank Carrie especially for organizing it. I can't tell you how many boxes that Carrie had to organize between art kits, PE, science kits, Montessori, E1, E2, Children's House, middle school. Like, really well done. Thanks, Carrie. Much appreciated. I know so the year, how's the year going? It seems good sometimes. It seems rocky sometimes. We still know that we have ups and downs with some technology and glitches, but everyone does. You know, we're not alone in that, statewide, right? Countrywide. And I think the one thing that I kind of keep saying to staff and parents and friends or whatever, it seems like the year goes like this, right? Ups and downs, bumps, and we get through it just supporting each other. And I think that's, you know, there's just a lot going on. There's a lot going on in school. There's a lot going on in the world. And I hope that we're giving each other the grace to, you know, experience the bumps. Like, we can't always be up, right? We're going to have some bad experiences or some not so good experiences, and how we work through those and help each other out matters. And I also know that lots of our teachers have been experiencing some random acts of kindness from each other and from parents. And that goes a really long way to making people bounce back or feel good. It can be as simple as a kind comment. A couple teachers got flowers delivered in the last couple of days, and it just goes a long way. And I say that not to like say, please send flowers. I'm saying do that for each other too in the community, right? Like, we really appreciate Hannah making the masks, people dropping by. Do that for each other. Do that in your neighborhoods, because that's how we're going to get through this, with just being extra kind. Okay. Really, the teachers are working so incredibly hard to get this right for the kids. And like I said, in the robocall you just heard, we're still kind of looking for that sweet spot. I think some of us have found it. Some of us are closer than others, but we are not giving up until we get it right. And I'm just really impressed with, the team meetings Claire and I have been sitting in on. Teachers are very on point about instruction, getting the standards across, but also recognizing, like all good teachers do, but especially Montessori teachers, is, kids are at all different developmental levels, and we honor and respect that. So again, communicate with us about how you're doing, what's going on. We want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for all the kids. Conferences are coming up next week. We're excited about that. It's a great time to hear more about academic and social emotional progress, what the teacher sees, right? And then also ask some questions, clarify, and then just connect, because you and the teacher are the team, right? And more so now than ever, right? When we're in your homes, we are literally in your houses every day. And I want you to know we don't take that for granted, and it's an honor for us. And we also know that this partnership that we have because of distance learning is even more important, that we're on the same page and helping children grow. Okay. Any questions? Okay, comprehensive design. I don't have a lot of information about that. I'm going to do a bell time kind of update in a couple minutes. My first meeting is October 22nd. So for sure by the next meeting, I will have more information coming from the district about the comprehensive design and the changes coming up. We haven't heard anything about moving to a hybrid model yet. There's been no information whatsoever, but what we do know is, again, what the superintendent said, quarter by quarter, and he'll give us lead time to make plans for it. So we would let you know. All right. Anything else? Right. You know what, Claire, you want to do the state of the schools?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I'm going to do the state of the school, which is a Title I requirement. Some of this information you already know. Some of it will be new. I'm going to try to share my screen here. Oh, Jim, can you give me capabilities to share my screen?
I'll give you, hold on just a second. Hold on.
Christian, thank you.
I know. All right, I'm going to make you co-host, and that way you can share your screen.
Yay. All right. All right. We good to go? We can see me? We're up and running? Okay, cool. All right, state of the school. All right, I'm going to start out with our school improvement plan. I'll go a little bit into just a little bit about distance learning. Again, some of that information won't be new. And then I'll talk about Title I. All right, so our school improvement plan. We've had to make quite a few adjustments to our school improvement plan this year to really figure out how we're gonna make it work with distance learning. A lot of the assessments we use we're either not doing or we don't know if we're doing yet this year. So really what our school improvement plan is a way for us to set goals that our school community is working on. So we identify different strategies and activities that are gonna help us reach those goals. So we use this depending on the year. This could be a 3-year or 5-year plan. In this case, right now, our school improvement plan is really a year goal because that's the best way to do that in the context that we are in, being distance learning. So here's our one-pager. I'll start with, we have 3 different SIP strategies, of school improvement strategies that we're working on. Our first one is around writing. Our second one is around math, and our third one's around equity and engagement. MTSS is a fancy acronym. MPS, Minneapolis Public Schools, loves acronyms. So MTSS stands for Multi-Tiered Systems of Support. It's really just a prevention framework that we use in order to provide support for students at all levels, multiple levels, right? So our first goal is really around writing. We have data on this because Seward has had a writing goal for about the past, 4 years. Seward people, yes.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. So we're really just expanding on that goal. So you can see here in spring of 2019, around 50% of our Children's House students met their end of year writing goal. And we haven't set our goal yet. So you'll see that there's a lot of blanks on this page. And that is because we are gathering and using new diagnostics or diagnostics we haven't used in the past. And we will set goals based off of the data that we're gathering right now this fall. So this is really a live document. I put a live version actually on our website. So I'm really hoping by November 1st, we're gonna have some of these blanks filled in. We don't wanna set goals until we see where our current students are at this year. So we'll set a Children's House goal for where we want our Children's House students to be at the end of the year. You can also see we do grade level equivalencies around structural elements in writing. So in E1, that was around that first grade level. Again, we want to see that higher. E2 was around the second grade level. And then for middle school, it was around almost that 5th grade level. So again, once we see the levels of this year, we'll make a growth goal or a goal for the end of the year. In math, we're really focusing on number sense. We have some diagnostics or some assessments that we use that help us measure that. They're different in every single grade. So in kindergarten and in Children's House, we're using something called the KCOM, Concepts of Math. And it's assessment that measures concepts of math in kindergarten. And for our E1 students, actually our first graders use something called the COM, which is very similar to the kindergarten assessment. It just expands, the numbers are a little bit larger. We're not gonna set an individual first grade goal, we're gonna set an E1 goal. And E1 students, we use something called CPV, which is the Conceptual Place Value Assessment. And again, that's a way we measure a number sense with our students. And then in E2, we're using the MRI, the multiple reasoning inventory, multiplication reasoning inventory. And again, that's just a way to measure our number sense in E2. We haven't set a middle school goal, and that is because we are using an in-house assessment. And typically with your school improvement plan, you don't have to set a goal for every single level. That doesn't mean we're not measuring growth and achievement in middle school. We just haven't put it formally in our SIP this year. And then lastly, we have an equity and engagement goal. And this is something that we created specifically for Seward. We created an engagement rubric that we use to see how we are supporting our students in their engagement with us. So we have it's kind of like an elementary grading rubric. So 1, 2, 3, 4, with how much students are engaged. And really, this is a way for us to track the levels of support that we're giving. It's a way for us to, we've tied it to our call log, our family call log. So when we're calling families, so we're able to see between our AEs and our teachers and our specialists and all the different people, our mental health team, where students are at with their engagement. Again, we just started that, so we don't have the data that we really need to create a goal around that yet. But of course, we want a 3. A 3 would be like actively engaged in all aspects of distance learning. So again, this document is a live document. We'll get more information. This will be updated. I'm hoping for sure by about November 1st. All right, so individual progress will be shared with you all in a variety of different ways, right? Parent-teacher conferences are coming up. That's gonna be a really great way to get information about your individual child. Quarterly report cards, we are doing those this year. And then of course, directly from your student's teacher is probably the best way. And you'll do that at conferences as well. Distance learning, some of this is review. I'm going to go over it anyways. Of course, we're in phase 2, just in case you didn't remember. So again, we're doing distance learning with some student supports. So all of our instruction is really delivered via distance learning. We're hoping to move to the hybrid model soon, but we really just don't know what that's going to look like. So targeted support may be provided to certain individuals. So that could be technology, tutoring, mental health, et cetera. We see some of that happening at different levels, whether that's mental health support or even doing some of the diagnostics or the assessments one-on-one. And then For You Fridays, really that's a way for us to meet the needs of students equitably, so engaging students equitably. So we call it For You because it's for you what you need. So some teachers are, using this as a time for collaborative planning. We have a pretty aggressive professional development plan that we're outlining around our school improvement plan. So really giving teachers time to process that and work on the things that we want to work on as a school. AEs will be meeting with people or students individually or in small groups, checking in with students. A lot of different ways. Tammy, do you have anything you want to add about For You Fridays? I know we've kind of sent some robocalls and some other information, but.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Thanks, Claire.
Okay. All right, attendance, just a reminder, we're taking daily attendance. This can look different, right? Participating in video class, chat, small group, one-on-one sessions, and then phone calls with students or younger students with a family member. This is really important that we are attending all of our sessions. Title I. So we are a Title I school. It's a federal program that provides money to schools and districts. So to provide an equal opportunity to students. Title I supports our school improvement plan as well as other things. Oopsies. Let's go. Oh, there it goes. All right. So yeah, we do receive Title I funding. We actually receive, it's about 5% of our budget, which is around $335,000. We are required to tell you all what we use that funding for. So we use it for staff. So we have reading interventionists, 2 of them, and a literacy coach that we use some of that funding for. We use it for professional development and educational supplies around our school improvement plan, so around math, writing, and equity engagement. And then for family involvement, family engagement liaisons, and some family engagement events. All right, so as a family member in a Title I school, you have different rights. So request information from the district. I'm going to kind of go over these briefly. Request information about the qualifications. Know your child's school is rated, state test scores, or in this case, this year would be diagnostic assessments that we're giving. Regular communication. We're going to talk about this compact that we make every year at a Title I school in a second. Help plan how money for family involvement should be spent. Work with teachers and other staff and us to develop a family involvement plan. And then ask for a meeting. And of course, anytime. All right, so this year, our compact is very similar to ones that we've used in the past. I made very few changes. I added, basically in some cases, so for example, in this one, as a principal administrator, I agree to creating a welcoming environment for parents and a safe learning environment for students, whether in person or virtually. So in different places, I added the virtual aspect of this. This compact, again, is just something that we are required to do, outlining the expectations that we have in multiple levels as a school. So for admin and principal, these are what we agree to. This can be found on our school website as well. I'm not going to read them all. Keep doing that. All right. Teachers will explain expectations, create a supportive learning environment. Again, these are things that we've stated in the past. We've just added that distance learning or virtual aspect to it. Communicating. And then parents and students, right? So as parents, encourage your child to read, eat meals together, get your student to school in person or virtually, attend activities, quiet place to work, help with sleep, make sure they're getting a sufficient sleep. It's really important. And then our students, of course, come to school, whether virtually or in person, each day, have a positive attitude, share with your family about school, know the school expectations. And of course, these are all things that teachers are going over with their students every day. Just a little information about us and how to reach us. Most of you have our contacts. I know I've received emails from some of you already, or talked to some of you on the phone. Thank you. That's it. Any questions, comments, concerns? Cool. All right. Thanks all. Back to you, Tammy.
All right, so I just need to say this. When Claire says we developed the engagement plan, she did it all, and it's amazing. And the teachers are super excited about it. So I want to give her a ton of credit for that, in addition to this report. Thank you, Claire. Yeah, she's just rocking it, and we're really lucky to have her at Seward. A couple other things that occurred to me as she was talking. So Claire's right, we don't have the numbers to fill into our SIP yet, our school improvement plan, but know that the assessments the teachers have been doing with your students and will be used. And then we will also be having some data dives where we will look very deeply at our data and set some goals, big goals, small goals, individual goals for students. So that is coming up, and that's, I think, November 22nd, we're going to work on that with the teachers.
October.
Or October, yeah, October 22nd. That's why things will look different in November. So we should have some more specifics for you then. And then, and so the For You Friday, does anybody have any questions about that right now?
Tammy, I've seen a few questions on Facebook just wondering about middle school and attendance and how that looks.
Yeah.
Can you talk about
Yep.
that?
So for all of the teachers are posting a check-in, every single one, and that's how they're taking attendance. So students need to log in and do a check-in. It might be a question, it might be a meet with the teacher, could be, but they have to, the kids have to log in and do the check-in. That's how they're taking attendance.
And is that for each class during the day?
Yes.
Not just advisory?
Yeah, each class during the day.
Good, thank you.
Yes.
On A days and B days.
Yes. Thank you, Claire. And again, we'll get a survey out to you at the end of the quarter about your experience with this. I am really grateful that I've gotten so much positive feedback, because this day for all of us, for the kids, for the teachers, for you all, that's lots of parents have been like, oh, thank you so much, right? This is good for families. But it's also really good for our staff to be able to, like Claire said, we're doing some really robust professional development. We're doing that on Thursdays after school. And then that gives them Friday to have things fresh. And if they can take action on it, they can, but they also can do, like I said, do work, get feedback. There's a lot of things that are going on in addition to checking in with kids. Oh, the Bull family, yes. Good question. And I've got to do a better job explaining this. So on Fridays, the specialists do a video right now to get to kids, but we're going to rotate that. So next quarter, we'll move the Thursday kids to Friday and the Friday kids to Monday, so they get live instruction on Mondays. And then the next quarter, we'll move again. So we're rotating who gets the video instruction. Does that make sense? Okay, good, fantastic. One thing I want to give you a heads up about is the district is looking at bell times. And as of right now, I don't think that impacts as much elementary schools as it will middle schools. And the reason, the first reason is because they want all middle schools to be able to offer after school activities, whether that's sports or chess or debate or theater or music or whatever it is. So, and that's really important. We know that when kids are involved in schools, there's more school pride, academic achievement improves. So it's a good thing. They also know if we can adjust some bell times, it'll save money for transportation, which is also that's real, right? I mean, we've talked about that before. So they also, and the other goal for this is to improve on-time arrivals. I put out, or I didn't put it out, the district sent me a video. I asked Christine to load it on our website. It's 14 minutes. The district kind of suggested I show that tonight, but I didn't want to do a 14-minute video like that when it does, I know, like, no, that was a decision. No, we're not doing that because it doesn't impact everyone, but if you are interested, it is on our website under Seward and the CDD. And take time, listen to it. If you have questions, comments, concerns, email those to me and I will share them with the district. They're just asking for parent input. They've done a pretty thorough job about looking at like pros and cons, but they don't want to miss anything. And so they want your feedback about that. Okay? So if you're interested, or if you know your student is going to middle school next year and we're having that transition, take the time to watch the 14-minute video. And like I said, email me with any questions, concerns, or comments. Any questions about that? All right. So Christian, do you want to give an update?
Yeah, thank you. I'll be quick. First off, I always want to start by saying thank you. Thank you to everybody who supports PTA and supports Seward Montessori in your volunteer work, in your donations, in everything. It's amazing the outpour of support that I've seen come in during these last few months, specifically with us trying to like negotiate our world. So thank you so much. First off, if you walk away with anything, I would like it to be directory.sewardmontessori.org. It's our parent directory. It has nothing to do with the district. It really is our internal directory that we try to build up on ourselves, by ourselves, and it gives us as parents a chance to reach out to other parents. It basically gives us a chance to like connect, and that's something that we can't necessarily do through the district system. So please, if you haven't signed up your family yet, again, it's directory.sewardmontessori.org. In terms of communication, we're always still looking for room parents. We got a great we have a lot of people helping us out this year, and we still need some help for Christina, Kevin and Liz in E1, and Kelly, Lisa, and Linda in E2. And room parents is just an additional way to communicate with parents, potentially help the teachers should they need anything, to potentially help the teachers if they need help applying for grants, which is something else that the PTA offers. And that's one of the last things that I want to mention here really is that something I mentioned in our last roundtable is that the PTA has extended its granting program. Normally we have an application process that ends by the end of October, and our application process, given the fact that we knew that needs of teachers were going to be changing ongoing throughout the year, given distance learning, we've kept it open, and we've doubled our pool of money so that we can provide support to teachers and to staff throughout the year. If you as a parent or you as teacher or staff know something that you need for your class, for your or your teacher's classroom, please contact PTA. We can provide a link to the application, or we're also taking some in essence general applications via email in order to try to accommodate as quickly as possible. Some things can don't necessarily have a time limit, and right now there are some things that do. So please reach out if your teacher has expressed any need for anything, or if you feel there's something that the PTA can help enrich your child's learning. So that's really all I have. And again, thank you so much for your support.
Okay, Tammy, should I talk about site council real quick? Go ahead. Okay, I have one update for site council, and it's schedule related. In order to do that, I should just give some context. Before last year, our site council really struggled with having a representative attendance from the whole school body. And so last year, Tammy and a small group of parents made sure that the communications about site council were more organic, not just relying on Facebook and emails, but reaching out individually to families to make sure that we were equally represented. And that made a huge difference last year. So we've been putting off our first meeting. So usually we would have the meeting in the week before this roundtable. Last year it was Fridays at 8 a.m. Tammy's just needed a little more time this year to make those reach outs to make sure that we have families represented. But please, we will announce on the Facebook page as well the day and time and Zoom link for that as soon as we're able to get through those communications. Tammy, anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I will just say, Tim, that is true. So I've been reaching out to a number of our Somali parents and trying to figure out dates and times that work best for them to join us. And so we'll get that together, I promise. And because it's important and it matters. And you're right, Jim, that worked out really well last year. And it was great to have a lot of our Somali families, African-American families at the table helping us guide our work. And we don't want to move forward without them. So it just takes a little time. Personal connections matter. And I'm happy to do it. And Clara will get on it. We'll all be reaching out and we'll get this together sooner rather than later. All right. And I hope, let's see, Michael Hodap, I think, I hope that answers part of your question. We just have to reach out and personally and do one-on-one invites, and also let people know that we can be flexible and meet at times that make sense to them.
That everybody can meet, right?
That everyone can meet, yeah. And last year that worked out really well because lots of our Somali moms and dads were dropping their kids off in the morning, and then they would just stay with us and have the meeting, and it was great. So we're out of that, obviously can't do that right now. So we've got to just figure out another way, and we will. I'm super confident. And then there was another question in the chat I wanted to get to. Who are the people making decisions about moving into a hybrid model? So the superintendent and his team, they listen to the governor and the Minnesota Department of Health about COVID numbers in the county as well as in the city. So that's the first kind of decision making. And then plans to open the school buildings, specifically indoor air quality. Yes, the district is working with our facilities, but we also have Jim, and Jim and I talked late this summer about this, and we're kind of just waiting to hear from the district about next steps. And Jim's been super helpful. Specifically, we've had lots of conversations about air quality, right, Jim?
Yeah, that's right. I'm an architect with my other hat, and our firm has helped a number of other organizations learn how to gather indoors safely in a distanced way, and in a way that takes advantage of indoor air quality on many levels, and how to achieve that.
So yes, and then just besides that, Jim and I have talked about Jim kind of helped me get the ball rolling about like what the building flow might look like, entrances, and we're lucky to have so many entrances in our building, and how we could route traffic through. And I've been talking with Andrea, our nurse, who will have an article in the upcoming Splash about, if kids have a fever or get sick at school, where do we put them? Because we've got to have a whole separate space. And so we have a plan and an exit, right? So we have a plan for that. So we've got pieces, right? It's kind of like just putting the puzzle together once we get, once we have permission. Does that help? Any other questions about that?
I will say too, the school board meetings go really in depth. So if you do want to go really in depth, the school board meetings are on the MPS website, and that's a good place to listen and learn a little bit more too.
All right. Any other questions? One thing I want to highlight is and Christian and Jim confirmed this, I think Erin Walsh is going to speak to us next month on stress and anxiety
I think that is confirmed.
What?
I think that's right.
Yeah, just about our own stress and anxiety through COVID, the election, school, having kids at home, trying to do everything, be everything to everyone. So please look forward to that, and let everyone know that she'll be in front of us, and that should be it's always good to listen to Erin. I always tell people I could listen to her for hours and hours. She's common sense. I always walk away learning something new, some strategy I can try. So please plan to attend next month.
These presentations
I had a question.
They're engaging. Oh, go ahead, Hillary.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jim. I was just curious, we had that grant that Ness and Amanda, Ness Medeiros and Amanda Lovely had submitted to the Bush Foundation to try to make Seward a pilot for outdoor classroom, sort of figuring out how to move outside, and they didn't get the funding. But I wondered if, we're winding down that outdoor season now. They're gonna, if they were to find more, like another grant over the winter, or if the PTA could even kick in some funds, is that something that could still be a possibility for the spring? I just was curious what, Tammy, just hearing from you as far as that as an option.
Yep. So what we know is there are a lot of equity issues that would absolutely would have to be addressed first, right? Like that's first and foremost. So we want to be careful about that. And I think, everybody has best intention and wants that to happen. So that would be first. And then the district has to be on board as well.
I'm sorry, what did you say is first? I missed
addressing equity just at Seward, right?
Right. Oh,
right?
I thought there was I thought you said specifically some part of the equity equation. It was just generally equity. I thought there was more detail. Something you had said.
No.
Okay.
And then making sure the district will be on board, and they of course would want to address an equity issue. And I think, so yeah, those are two really big things. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it would have to be really, really specific and addressed, and all the more reason to invite our families of color and get people on board and talking and getting their input.
Thanks.
Yep. Any other questions? All right, so enjoy your conferences, ask questions. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Talk to Claire if anything comes up. We're here to help. We appreciate you. Thank you for, again, just sticking with us through all of this. We're doing the best we can. We know you are too. And like I said, we really respect that we are in your homes, right? And this whole new partnership is forming. And I think we're going to come out of this stronger, but like I said, there are bumps along the way. But hang in there, everyone. And we will see you in November with Erin. Okay? All right. Good night. Thanks everyone.
Tammy.
Hi, Tammy.
Hi, Freya. How are you?
Good.
Good to see you. Have a good day,
everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, you guys. I'm going to shut it down.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Christian.
Yeah.
You are my new hero. In the next meeting, I want to be drinking a glass of red wine.
Sorry. I know sometimes I'm a
Thinking
little
the
worried that
same
it's
thing,
not.
Christian. I
No,
was like, oh,
Christian.
is that what we're doing?
Yeah. Christian, keep drinking red wine. I'm so good with it. I'm like, I think I
I
want
know.
that.
I was like, whoa. Why didn't I think of that?
We'll toast each other. We're on. We're with you.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
No, I loved it. Seriously.
I'm glad. All right.
Yeah.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
You guys
Thank-
have a good night.
Yeah, you too.